One life away, we can't explore. But I don't wanna get in the way no more, cause it's the type of feeling you can't ignore. I'm ready to break.
On day 90, I was this close to giving up. My latest idea was a complete disaster and I don't know what to do. About 150 days ago, I decided to quit my comfortable corporate job to try build my own startup. I had no idea what I was walking into. But 150 days later, I can safely say that this is one of the most transformative experiences I've ever had. With highs and lows and everything in between. I'm actually in a rush right now because I'm gonna be going away for 2 days. I'm actually running late, so I'll tell you more when I get on the train or something. I'm running so late. So to begin, you'll need to know where I came from. I've always been a high achiever, maybe a little bit insecure. I was a straight A student, I went to law school, and ended up going into my dream career, which is at a prestigious management consulting firm. I was on top of the world, but soon I realized it was not what I expected. Mundane work, slow progression, it killed the dream in me. So a year in, I decided to do something different.
Like the world's
That's for the
shittest
margaritas. I've always had an itch for entrepreneurship. I mean, that's the ultimate dream, right? Starting and owning your own business.
Scumbag. No, I was a scumbag first round.
Like that.
That will work. I think it's easy if you do it the other way around.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oof.
It's so fun.
So at the exact 1 year mark since I started my consulting job, I quit without a plan.
How are you feeling? Feeling pumped? Pumped for a run? Ready to f some shit up?
My plan was to build my own startup without raising any capital. Build and move quickly and only sticking to ideas that have a good early traction. I thought working in consulting had prepared me for anything, but nothing could have prepared me for the roller coaster of the startup world. Just a few days in, I realized the big problem, which is I don't know how to code. See, I've always been this non-technical person. In high school, my favorite subject was history. In university, I was a law student. But now, I'm forced to do something I'm not good at. Initially, it was really hard. I keep having this mental block telling me I can't do it because I'm not technical, and I had to start from literal scratch. I built everything and anything from websites that look like it's from the early 2000s to random scoreboards that help you keep track of a basketball game. It was not pretty, and I think that's the first lesson. Try not to limit your own identity. We are all adaptive. You can be whatever you want as long as you put your mind to it. I mean, to give you a reference, 4 months later, I'm now building an AI tool that helps you with consulting interview preparations. I'll say 4 months ago, I never would have expected it. Oh, and if you're interested in my newest AI startup, you can actually check out the website and join the waitlist through the link in my bio along with all my other links. Here it is, and I mean, it looks pretty aesthetic, right? And no, I didn't code it myself. I actually built it using biosites, which is a link in bio tool by Squarespace that help you display all your links. And it was surprisingly easy to set up. You literally just have to go to the website, choose a cool template, and then customize it yourself. You can choose your fonts, your colors, your backgrounds, and then add all your links. So I added my Instagram, my Twitter, my YouTube, my newsletter, even my Spotify playlist. It displays all my links in such an aesthetic way, which I think is really important nowadays. So yeah, definitely go check out my startup website and all my other links in my bio sites. You can go to biosites.com/jasonlai or click the link in my description box to create your biosites today. Have a play around with it. It literally takes 5 minutes. It is so easy to set up. So yeah, thank you biosites for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back into it. I haven't been on a run in so long, but this is definitely nice, especially early in the morning. So yeah, I spent about 2 months learning the basic of coding and finally starting building my own projects. I was really disciplined. I had like a 9 to 5 schedule for myself, almost as if I was working at a corporate job. Back in consulting, my hours were something like 9 to 9, and I thought, now that I'm working for myself, I have to work at least, not even harder. So for a while I did. I would just work on whatever throughout the day, and I would measure how productive I am by how many hours I worked that day. But it took way too long for me to realize this was the wrong approach. This is when I burnt out. I was just diving into whatever task there is for me to complete to feel like I'm productive. But I wasn't really prioritizing the time to make good decisions, have a clearer mind, and to find smaller ways to work. I think essentially, right, you want a clear mind because that leads to better judgment, and better judgment leads to better outcome. We live in an age where decision making is 10 times more important than before because stuff like code and media gives us leverage over our decision making. In the past, when you make a decision to like talk about something, maybe it only reaches like 10, 20 people. But right now, if I do decide to talk about something with the leverage of media, so like social media, YouTube, etc., I can essentially spread that out to 10 times more people. And that's why it's so important to really learn how to tame your mind to optimize your performance. And stuff like going on run, exercising, going to the gym really helps with that. Also, just look at how sick this place is. Yeah, this is what I aspire to have in 10, 20 years time. We'll get there. Another thing that's related to that is sort of working hard versus working smart. Everyone says that, but I don't think enough people understand what it actually means. Put it another way, you want to be earning with your mind, not your time. When I was still in corporate, when I was still working in consulting, we were built by hours. So how hard you work or how good of a consultant you were essentially depends on how many hours you worked. And I think after I quit my job and started building my own startup, I was still measuring my effort with that same lens by measuring how many hours I put into my work. But slowly I realized it doesn't work that way. Working on the right thing is 10 times better than just putting in the hours on the wrong thing. I'll give you an example. I recently started a new project. It's called Case Fast, which I'll show you guys very soon. And before I started on this project, I had basically 2-3 days where I wasn't really doing any productive work because that was the gap between me finishing my last project and starting on this project. Now, if I was prioritizing working the hours, I probably should have started a new project immediately, right after I finished my old one. But because I know how important it is to make good decisions rather than just working for the sake of working, I actually took some time off to process what I learned in my last experience and taking some time to really decide on my next idea before jumping onto the first idea that sounds great. I was going out for walks, I was meeting up with friends, just discussing different ideas. I went to the gym. These are all non-productive hours if you think about it in hours term, but by focusing on really doing the right thing, prioritizing, making high quality decisions, I think it leads to a much better outcome in the long run.
I would love just to be stuck to your side, not with anybody else, It's enough just to keep us occupied. Please don't go.
Not yet.
I would love just to be stuck to your side, not with anybody else, It's enough just to keep us occupied. Please don't go. You were holding out your hands, hoping I'll be there to hold to.
Look at him go.
I went out to Amsterdam just so I could give you some space.
Just showered, we went to the beach today, and I think we're doing a barbecue tonight. And just look at this view, so nice. Yeah, just grateful to be here. I'm actually here with some friends that I used to work with in consulting, and you know your real friends when they still invite you to hang out and stuff like these after you've quit your job. But yeah, gonna actually go back to London tomorrow. It is fun to like have time away, but I'm also like super excited to also just get back into building. But yeah, super excited. Just gonna try and enjoy the rare British sunshine before I get back to London.
Hello guys.
Whoa! Oh my god, has it got a microphone on it?
Huh?
Is that a microphone?
Yeah, it's a microphone.
What's the quality like?
Crazy.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow maybe. I'll see.
The next station is Waterloo East.
Now bear in mind, what I talk about just now all happened in the first 60 days. I had heard about people saying how much you learn by taking risks and doing your own thing, but this is not what I expected. By day 60 or so, I started working on my own projects. One of our first projects was Matcha, a social app to help people meet more like-minded friends in a big city through mutual connections. I worked on this idea with 2 other friends and we're all super motivated to get it to work. We had a landing page, one of our friends was a designer, and we thought we're onto something. But soon reality hit. Building a social app as your first project is extremely difficult. You spend day and night working on the idea, even pivoting the idea into a real-life meetup community thing, but it soon became clear to us that the problem we're solving is not big enough of a problem that people will actually pay and go out of their way to solve it. And that month was really hard. We kept working, but we felt like we weren't really moving at all. We felt really defeated. So that was about day 90. I had spent 3 months making no dollars, and my latest project that I spent a whole month on was a flop. So I was really frustrated and honestly had thoughts of giving up at this point, because this was the first time that I truly understood how far away I was from those that made it work. At that point, I now really understood what it takes and how much happens behind the scene that led to every one of these successful startups. It was honestly also a bit of FOMO. I was not making any money, and all my friends in the industry are getting promoted, getting paid well, and it just felt really scary. So after deciding to move on from that project, I actually gave myself a few days off. Work smarter and clarity of mind, remember? In those few days, I just did a lot of stuff that was quote-unquote unproductive. I went on a lot of walks, I met up with friends, had a lot of discussions about different ideas. I revisited many books and podcasts that gave me a lot of inspiration. And in particular, 2 startup founders actually really inspired me. This first founder worked on 70 plus projects and only 4 ended up making any money. This other founder was broke, worked on like 20 projects, and now has a viral product that makes him over 50k a month. It just puts things into perspective. Matcha was only my first, maybe second project. If anything, every time I fail, I learned something new. For example, Matcha was the first time I was able to build a fully functional social app, which is pretty cool in itself. It also made me realize the importance of stuff like marketing and user acquisition. It was also the first time I worked with someone on a startup project. And at the end, it was all about that mindset shift. Realizing the progress I've made in the last 2 to 3 months gave me the courage to keep going. So for the last 2 months, I've been embracing failures. Try something new, fail, try again, fail better. But something still felt missing. And then I realized how lonely this whole journey actually is.
Look, I can see your face in the Parisian paintings. The Mona Lisa, I can hear your voice in the streets and the TV stations and the police. I can feel the strains on my wrist, I don't need these bracelets. Of all the things that she keeps in cages, I'm her leastest favorite, and she said I was
Hello guys. Shy motherfuckers. Oh man. Hello, Jason's channel. We're taking over.
Most of my friends are working full-time jobs and I'm just out here building something from scratch. And that's really the last lesson and one that I'm still trying to learn. Remember the people alongside you who's been supporting you since day one. And don't forget to really spend some time with them. Put yourself out there, find your community, have some fun. Because what matters truly isn't the destination and it's the journey itself. The journey and the adventure of how you got there.
think of anyone else. Mona Lisa, yeah, Mona Lisa.
So yeah, it's been a crazy journey. If anything, these 150 days changed my outlook on life. I think it made me realize that you shouldn't limit yourself on who you can actually become. And it also made me see failure in a new light. I think I was really risk averse and scared of failing when I was growing up, but putting myself out there and exposing myself to these situations where I'm bound to fail makes me realize that it is not as scary as I once thought it was. And yeah, this is only the first 150 days. I can't wait for the next 150 and the one after that. So how much can change in 150 days? So how much can change in 150 days? Well, a lot. But yeah, that's it from me today. Subscribe and like if you haven't done so. I want this to blow up, so peace.